When the Gibson J-160E came out in 1954, it likely came factory strung with Gibson E-229 or E-240 sets, just like the Les Paul, since the J-160E was meant to be the acoustic version. Both were a heavy 14 through 56 set, but the E-229s had a plain G string, while the E-240s had a wound G string. Photos from 1962, when the Beatles first got their J-160Es, show wound third strings, pointing to the heavier E-240s. But by that time, it's also possible the guitars were coming factory strung with E-340s, since this was right around the transition period. E-340s were a 12 through 56 round wound set with a wound G, and they were massively popular back then, both in England and in America. With England's import embargo in the 50s and the 60s on musical instruments and accessories, the only replacement Gibson strings available in the early to mid 60s was the E-240s and the E-340s. I even made a video recently showing the only known photo of a pack of strings with the Beatles, sitting next to George's J-160E along with a pair of wire cutters. It was most likely a set of Gibson strings. John Lennon used E-340s on his 58 Rickenbacker 325 and loved them. Round wound strings were all the rage in England back in the early 60s, known for their bright, punchy tone. And since the Beatles usually stuck with whatever strings came from the factory, it makes sense John kept using E-340s. George Harrison's J-160E also shows a wound third string in early photos, another sign he was likely using E-340s too. By mid to late 1968, though it's likely both J-160Es were strung with Fender Rock and Roll No. 150s, which were becoming the string of the late 1960s. They were a 10 through 38 set. In fact, when John had his 1958 Rickenbacker 325 restored in 1972, he specifically asked for Fender 150s.